Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast. Today my guest is Jase McGregor, or Jase McShred. Where did that name come from, Jase McShred?
I think that was one of the many nicknames I got given in an old band I used to be in called the Lamplights. And then at one stage when my wife told me that I needed to have my personal profile not be my actual name anymore, and that was where we landed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great name to have, Jase McShred. It's a great nickname.
Yeah.
And you've got you've got a few things going on the guitar.
We get around there a little bit, yeah.
When did you first start playing guitar, and what was the thing that attracted you to it?
I started playing guitar when I was 15, and at the time I grew up in a little town called Malanda up in the Tablelands up near Cairns. There's nothing there.
Is that up near Lake Tinaroo?
Yeah, that's exactly.
I've been skiing on Lake
You've
Tinaroo.
been skiing? Yeah. Sometimes it's got enough water in it for that. And I was part of this sort of youth group in high school, and all the people in this youth group played instruments except for me. And the guy who ran this thing, I think he just felt sorry for me. I'd sit up the back while they'd do their little rehearsals with this ancient desk that I'm pretty sure none of the faders worked on except for volumes, and pretend that I was doing something. And I think one day he just felt sorry enough for me. He's like, mate, do you feel like playing guitar? Like, do you want to learn? I was like, okay, cool. I've got nothing else going on here. And from there, kind of grabbed me pretty quick. And
you got the bug?
Yeah, I got the bug. And maybe a year in, my dad dragged me to this country music club day, and I ended up joining a band, and then another one in high school. And by the time I was in year 11, I was kind of playing on the weekends, and it was the best weekend job ever. Still is.
So country music, was that where things started out for you? What were you listening to? Was it?
Oh, no, I was a real pop guy.
Yep.
I mean, at the time then, just kind of anything that was on the radio then and top 40 and stuff then kind of worked for me. The country thing, because that was an in to being able to perform up there. I mean, tons of people were into country stuff, and maybe, like someone like that early Keith Urban and the Ranch stuff, that kind of was really cool. I dug that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I was definitely more of a pop character, and I still kind of gravitate towards poppy stuff. I'm like, it's one of the masters that way.
So North Queensland, what prompted the move down south?
Well, when I finished school, I kind of had a gap year / just put it in park. And a friend of mine from school moved down to Brisbane and started studying music at QUT. He played piano and flute and stuff. And he came back up after sort of halfway through the year, and he's like, you should really come down. Like, it'd be great. You'd love it. You meet lots of great players, and you could hang out, and there's more stuff to do there. So at that point, I felt like I had some purpose there. So I was like, I've got this exam I'll get ready for. And I spent ages playing all these pieces and stuff and getting ready, and did the little audition and got in. And then, at the end of the year, I just moved to Brisbane. And I was like, well, uni probably wasn't all that it was cracked up to be, but what it was good for was for meeting other people
networking.
In the same, networking in a city where you don't know anyone, and where the biggest place you've ever been before has cows in it. So it was handy that way.
Yeah.
And that prompted the move. There's a limited number of gigs. I'm sure it's probably a little better up in Cairns now, but it was kind of sort of so-so. It was good to have more opportunities to play.
What was the first guitar that you ever owned?
Ooh, the first guitar that I ever owned was a hand-me-down from my dad. It was a kind of a lawsuit era Suzuki Les Paul, like a Black Beauty.
Okay.
And the first guitar I ever bought with my own money was this US standard Strat, like a 3-tone Sunburst 98. And after that, I bought a Tommy Emmanuel Telecaster that they made not many of, which is basically just a Nashville Telly. But,
blue. It's got the Strat.
But it's blue.
It's sort of got a Strat setup in it.
Yeah. It's got that
the middle Telly with the middle pickup.
Yeah, kind of almost does that thing. Yeah, and I've still got that one.
Being the Tommy Emmanuel model, tell me this: does it with an EMG pickups in it?
No, it doesn't have the actives in it. No, they did a limited run, and it was just those Tex-Mex deals, same as any old mix Telly. But I dug it at the time. It was cool.
What's your favourite guitar to play now?
Ooh. It really depends. At the moment, I'm really loving my vintage Fenech. She's kind of sort of the Gibson kind of vibe he was going for with those ones. I got this one. It went down to a showroom in Melbourne and came back because the finish on it had kind of done that Murphy Lab cracking thing really early on, and they sent it back. But to be honest, I really dug that. I thought it looks way older than it is. I think it's like a year and a half old, and I'm really enjoying picking on that at home at the moment. Although I also got it was my birthday recently, and I got one of those little lava guitars, like the little carbon fiber deals with the effects built into them. Like, just I was like, I really want something that's not going to get broken when we travel just for holidays to have a week off or whatever. That's really cool. Oh, wow. So I'm really digging that.
And you can take it on board, put it up in the overhead, or
I'm gonna try. Yeah, but it's built. It's like a wok.
Oh, okay.
It's like what it's built out of. Like, you gets a clang sound when you tap on it. It's kind of this carbony, fibrony, metally. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like it's going to break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And so the Fenech guitars, you play an electric one, and that was my first ever experience of seeing someone play a Fenech guitar.
Yeah.
And Aaron was actually on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he makes such beautiful guitars here on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
How did you make that connection of
Well,
meeting up with Aaron?
I used to have a little thing, like a little maintenance setup, and at the time, a guy named Eddie was the sales rep in Queensland for Maton, and I called him up. I was like, I'm going to buy another one. He's like, hang on, mate. He's like, just keep this on the DL, but I'm jumping ship, so I want you to see where I'm going. Okay. So I went down to Aaron's place at Miami, and it just so happened, and it's never the case now, but then the walls were covered in guitars. This like little room, and there was...
Yeah, he can't keep up with the production.
No,
he's so
like,
popular.
It's really prolific now. And so I played a bunch, and then one of them I was kind of really smiling with, and Eddie looks over at me and gives Aaron, and she's like, I reckon that's yours, mate. I reckon you need that one. I was like, okay, twist my rubber arm, I guess I do. And I really love Aaron's philosophy about why he does everything, and there's always a reason why, and it's always a good reason. And then the end product is all these beautiful instruments that, they sound great. And same with the electrics. I really dig I got a couple of those Roadsters, and I kind of use it for 95% of everything now.
I mean, I was just blown away by his knowledge of everything to do with making a guitar, like just even down to the like wave mechanics and stuff.
Yeah,
because of his background. It's such an interesting background.
It is, isn't it? Like, coming from all the places that he's come from. But I appreciate that too, like talking about waveforms, and like that's really starting at first principles and going, I want the signal to do this. Let's bend some wood and metal to make that a thing. Yeah. And the proof is obviously in the pudding. So
they're really beautiful guitars. So you come down and you do some study. Mm-hmm. What happens for you after studying?
Well, when I came down, I'm not the most I certainly wasn't then the most extroverted, get out there and build the network kind of guy, but I did kind of find a little bunch of players. We found our way, but the way that all of the academia was kind of going was I never finished the course, and a lot of guys who were in there didn't either. We just kind of, once we found our wings, we were like, we'll probably just actually go and play now. But one great thing that I had in there was that I kind of got to choose or swap out. I had an amazing tutor when I got down there, but he was an amazing jazz guy, a guy named James Sherlock. He's ridiculous. Great gypsy jazz player too. But I was more in the kind of the Tommy and Chet and Jerry Reed thing. I really love playing that fingerstyle acoustic stuff. So I went and found Michael Fix, who lives in Brisbane there, and I asked, I'm like, hey, do you mind the uni will pay you as part of this course and stuff, but can I just kind of cruise over and do lessons and hang out with you? And he was really, really warm and accommodating. And so every week I'd hop on the bus and cruise out to Callan Vale, out to his beautiful little studio there, and we'd drink coffee and play a bunch of guitars, and he'd show me some cool old Chet and Jerry tunes and bits and pieces, and I'd try and get my head around it and keep up. And out of that, I started recording little EPs of things, and Michael would go on the road he at that time, I don't know if he still does, but he would go to Europe. He speaks German fluently, and he's been playing all of these places. You know, Tommy went over and played all these places in Europe and basically made a big highway that guys like him could go and play all these venues and people would come. And Michael would do that. He'd go over for a month at a time, a couple of times a year. And he just kind of dragged me along to a few of those things. So I'd be like the opening act and met some really cool players that way.
Cool.
And that was so, you know,
what a wonderful thing to do.
It was, he's still doing it now. He's doing it with a bunch of really great young players. And yeah, so you just get to go and play in front of these European audiences, playing stuff that was pretty niche, but over there, there's just a great love and just of all this culture in general. If someone's doing something and their heart's in it and they're doing it to a decent level, they love it. They're having a great time. So that was a really wonderful experience for me. And it opened a lot of doors to meet other people and start to feel like, I could pay the rent doing this properly down here.
I guess it also opens up the fact that you learn that audiences are different around the world too.
Yeah.
And they respond differently.
Yeah, that's very true.
And people do actually like different sorts of music.
Yeah, I know. We can forget that over here sometimes. I think Australian audiences it's a pretty great crucible here for learning how to connect and entertain and stuff. It's like if you can really if you can move a room of people over here, you're probably good a lot of other places in the world. Like,
yeah. You got to work to earn your stripes.
It's like running with those weight bands on. You know,
yeah.
I think it's a bit like that.
It is, yeah. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you've got to do in this country is you've got to work hard to find your audience.
Yeah.
There'll be an audience of people who will love what you do, but you've got to work pretty hard to reach out and make them aware that you're doing your thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So you go over and you've done stuff. Have you been back to Germany since? Have you ever, or anywhere in Europe for that matter?
To play, I did 3 trips over in a year, and then I haven't been back to perform. Yeah, since that first little run of shows. So I wanted to do that kind of. I thought that I wanted to just do that, playing that acoustic instrumental stuff, and I'd sing a bit and stuff as well. And then kind of life took a bit of a different turn gig-wise. I've sort of been playing with some other artists for a while, for the last sort of 5 or 10 years.
So who have you been playing with?
Well, predominantly over the last little while, one of my main gigs has been with Adam Brand, country guy.
Yeah,
done some rehearsals. And
that's one of the reasons. Yeah, you did some rehearsals.
Yeah. First time we came. Yeah, it was awesome. This is a great place to rehearse, by the way. It's awesome. No one else has everything set up that sounds good, and it's a vibe.
It is a nice space. So, how did it come about that you got the gig playing with Adam Brand?
I was doing these little gigs at the markets at Palm Beach on a Saturday. It was awful. I don't know why. I do know why. I used to play in this band called the Lamplights on the Gold Coast, and I'd met these 2 guys who were running it, Ash and Ryan, and joined up with them. And they were playing these kind of folky, sort of gypsy jazzy, feel good tunes, and they were quite engaging. And they just played at the markets and come along, come and see what the vibe is. And I was like, oh man, it's early. It'll be a Saturday morning. I've been playing Friday night. I'm going to get 3 hours sleep, and then what are we going to do? And we play, and you'd look at the case at the end of the day, and it was stack full of cash, and they'd sell 100 CDs. And you're like, oh. And then, it dawned on me that every kind of person in the world comes to the markets, and if they see something they like while they're having their coffee, they're like, here's a card. Do you want to do my event? I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is actually, and I started to appreciate that people are a community there, and I've kind of warmed to events like that. Well, one day I was playing on my own at the markets at Palm Beach, and this guy with big aviators walked in. Little guy with aviators walked in. He sat down. He's sitting there watching me for a while, and then he kind of came in. Hey mate, so do you play electric guitar? I'm like, yeah, I play electric guitar. He's like, I might have some gigs. Are you busy and stuff? And at the time I did have a little run on the road with a guy named Luke Kennedy who'd just been on The Voice and did decently well. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty busy. He's like, so you're too busy then? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I said, sorry, what's your name? He's like, I'm Adam. I'm Adam Brand. I was like, okay, no, I've got some time. And I and a week later, I was in King's Cross tracking pre-production demos for his then album.
Wow.
And then we've kind of been been brothers and been on the road ever since. And he always does this little thing where he's introducing the band. He's like, "Oh, it's the best thing I ever bought from the markets." Yeah. So I roll my eyes and carry on.
But that's cool.
Yeah, I like this. I like that about life. Sometimes you're heading this way and then
opportunity comes and knocks on your door.
Yeah. A window opens and the wind blows you through it and you're like, "Oh, I'm doing this now." And that was one of those moments, and there's been lots of really great things that I look back on and smile about just because of that.
Yeah. It's one thing to have an opportunity, but you've got to be ready for it, I guess, as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I think you do have to kind of somewhat go, well, you can have your big grand idea about here's my 1 and 2 and 5 year plans, but you also have to be watching where your foot's going to step next. And sometimes you take
recording-wise, have you done any of your own original material?
I have. It's been a minute since I properly done. I'm actually working on like an acoustic sort of back to acoustic instrumental project at the moment, which I'm really hoping to finish this year, halfway through. I did another thing that I thought would be something, but then wasn't quite, was with Adam's shows, you'd hit the road with him, and the deal used to be he would take someone who had a sort of still up and coming but had a bit of a name, and they would play opening and the band would play for them for the shows.
Yep.
And then before that, his bass player Matt Cornell would do the opening set. And so basically the band would do 3 gigs every night and make the whole show work. And I think that logistically and money-wise made it work as well. So Adam sort of said to me, he's like, well, you can sing, and if we put some tunes together, do you want to hop on this bus? And we'll, you can do a set. And so I recorded it. I wrote after he had that chat with me, we were driving back from the airport, and we just kind of pulled a song out of midair and wrote it in the car on the way home. And he's like, "Oh, that'll be a single. We'll put that together." And it was called "That's Why We're Here." And I kind of like it. It was we recorded and got it all ready out of the can, and then COVID happened, and so the studio thing didn't hit the road. I spent a bunch of money putting it out there, and then of course, you have to do a lot of that with a lot of songs for a while to build something. And then I kind of thought at the end of that and went, maybe the country artist thing is not. I don't think I need to be at the front of the stage for that. Maybe that's not for me. And so now I'm just enjoying. I'm really enjoying writing tunes.
Let's have a listen to a couple.
Yeah.
Or have a listen to something.
Something.
We'll pull this out. Pull this out for you so you can get this out the ear. Yeah, there we go.
Should be right.
Geez, that's a beautiful sounding guitar.
Yeah, I really do love playing on this. It's I've got a couple at home, but this is definitely the current fave. We'll both wear well.
Yeah. So what's that tune called?
That tune is called Libre.
Libre.
It means freedom. Yeah, I think it means freedom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so an album you're working on, you're about halfway through. Mm-hmm. How many songs will be on it?
8.
8 songs?
Yep.
Cool.
8 little tunes. No commercial reason for it, just more the Rick Rubin-esque, make the thing for me. And then, which feels like a nice balance when you're doing tons of gigs and you want to actually have a creative outlet that you feel like is you just expressing yourself because that's what you feel like you're meant to do a little bit.
Well, it's also one of those things, like everything else that's probably happened along the way for you, and I can relate to this myself. Putting stuff like that out there in the world creates opportunities.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and I've just kind of brought myself to trusting that if you really have a feeling to do something, you don't always need to know the why of it. I mean, there's obviously a reason it's there, and so I always just trust that.
Yeah. It's a great way to go. You've got kids and obviously a wife to go with it. Mm-hmm. When did that come along in the journey for you?
So my two boys are 17 and 15.
Wow.
So yeah, my watch is nearly ended. Oh, technically.
It never ends.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it never ends. So I got married pretty young and then remarried about 10 years ago. Okay. So yeah, I definitely didn't get a lot of things right the first time round. But we're in a pretty good spot now.
Your wife's involved in the entertainment industry.
My wife and I own an agency together, and she's the grown-up in it. That can do all of the grown-up things, and I can answer the email templates just fine, and then go where I'm told.
Does it help having a partner who's involved in the same industry as you?
It's been a nice dynamic for us because we like working together with each other. You know, you can, as much as there can be stressful moments sometimes, it just means that we always have regular contact in our life. There's always shared things to talk about. I think it's helpful. I think it's good. It's been good for our communication, and there are some challenges, but it does mean that even if, at the very least, if I've been away for a whole weekend, well, at least in some capacity, we're still in the same space together and still connected. Life is not all about work, but it does kind of facilitate still having that.
Life's not all about work, but I know so many musos, and you ask them what their hobby is, and their hobby is playing music.
You're like, what do you mean? I don't need one of those. Yeah,
it is a fairly all-consuming thing to do. It does take up with me, it takes up almost every part of and spare moment of your life.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I kind of designed life that way. And before I could make a living performing music, or did what everyone does, I was like, well, every job I do is going to be tied to it. I'm going to teach music, selling guitars at the shop, whatever, all that stuff. And now I'm either playing it or I'm, trying to book other people to play it. So yeah, I don't know. It just always felt right. That's like, this is where my heart is. So I don't mind building my life around that. And I don't find it, I don't know about you, but I don't regret any of it. I kind of like having everything all.
No, it's a unique experience. And I think anyone who works a 9-to-5 job, one of the great reasons about doing this particular podcast is to some degree to enlighten people who would not have walked that path.
Yeah.
What's involved? Because a lot of people would go, "Oh, Jace, you play guitar. What do you do for a job?"
Yeah, what do you do for a living? Yeah.
What do you do to make? And it's like, it's a full-time job.
Yeah,
being a muso. And so I guess it's that thing of trying to enlighten people of what's involved. What would it be a typical, like if you walk through a typical week for you, obviously the agency, so you're booking people, you're answering phones.
Yep.
But you're also working on recording new material and you're out gigging.
Yep.
How many gigs a week would you normally do?
Between 2 and 5, averaging 3, I guess, at the moment. If there's a little run on the road, then there'll be a little run of things put together. I try not to do as much as I used to do. I mean, my mates always used to, try and compare how mental a week we'd had.
It's almost a badge of honour.
Oh,
I did 20 gigs this week.
Yeah, I'm in the hospital now, but man, I really, so it was a bit like that. So
man, if you'd heard me speaking yesterday, my voice was just gone.
Yeah. So I try not to be in that place anymore, but like a general week, I probably am a little overcommitted at the moment. It's definitely a work in progress, but I do try and find balance with things in the day. The business stuff does become, as you feel more responsible now, you're like, oh, there is a lot of email happening in my life now that it's like, so I try and compartmentalize that stuff. I'll have my stuff where I'm still trying to be good at playing guitar that I'll work on every day in these little 15... we were talking about AI earlier. I sat there and asked Grok and went, okay, well, seeing as you've read every book on neuroscience ever, what's the smartest way to practice blah, 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 and get from this point to this point? And it would give me these intervals on when to work on certain things. And it's not as much as I used to think I should be doing.
I always ascribe to people and they say to me, you know, like if they want to learn a piece of music or if they want to learn how to, just to play guitar in general. And I always say, it's like, you don't have to spend a lot of time, but you have to spend 15 to 20 minutes
Focused.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. It's an everyday thing. And then you come back and the mechanics works better.
Yeah.
Is that
I feel that's true for me. I probably now do these, I want time to be creative, which is not the same thing as the practice. And then the practice is I do 3 15-minute really focused things on whatever it is I'm working on with some space in between. And yeah, be consistent. And if I feel like doing more at the end of all of that, I do more. And if I don't feel like it, that's fine too, because I'm going to play a bunch of gigs on the weekend and it's not like I'm starved for playing guitar.
Yeah, there is a big difference, I mean, between practice and writing and playing in general. When you're practicing, is practicing a thing for you that involves playing scales or is it something else?
The technical element of my practice, I don't really... No, I'm not playing scales up and down. I probably at the moment have got, like, for instance, a couple of bluegrass tunes that I'm alternating between playing the rhythm part and playing the head of with a metronome and slowly building it up only until I'm kind of... Even if it's messy where it's faster, so long as I'm relaxed, I know I'm kind of getting there. And then other than that, probably... I'm always interested in learning more sounds that sound cool over different chords. So if I find something, and I find myself doing this on Instagram a lot, like you go through reels and you hear a really, really cool lick somewhere and you like put that in the folder, I'll look at that later. Yep. And so every week I've maybe got a couple of those things. So I'm like, if I could just get that sound in my head, so I'll sit there and if it's a 2/5 thing, I'll sit there and play it in one key and try and find it in a couple of places. And then I'll try and work on that for 20 minutes or a half an hour, just trying to make it settle over each till I don't have to think about it.
So practice is more about playing music.
I like music, yeah.
Which I was just one of the things I was going to allude to, I think, is if you're constantly practicing scales, when you go out to play, you end up playing...
That's what comes out, yeah.
Exactly. So you've got to be careful what you practice.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, from a technical point of view, when you're learning to play, those things can be helpful.
Yeah.
But you really want to make sure that you are learning new music and practicing playing music.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you were learning to speak English and all you did was say the alphabet over and over again, I mean, that's not going to get you far in a conversation, I suppose.
I saw an interesting podcast with Tom Bukovac, and he played a couple of really fast runs, and the guy said to him, play more of that. And he goes, why? No, I'm not interested in playing. That's not music. He said, and what was he saying? That's not music.
Yeah.
That's me going, blah, 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 spitting out a bunch of notes.
Yeah.
It's not me playing music. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a really interesting mindset to think about.
Well, I wonder about that. It's funny because with guitar players, it's always, for some reason, it's always part of the thing growing, be like, oh, I just want to be able to do that fast. But then you sit there and think about it and go, how much can I really say and how involved can my brain be at that speed with this? It's not like I'm committed to every note here. I'm just treading this path I've tread 1,000 times and spitting it out there just to go, hey,
it's just
I can do this.
Yeah, it's impressive to other people. It's like, oh, man. Yeah.
But it's not, other than saying I can do this, it's not always actually saying something.
Yeah, I guess it impresses the teenage boy in you.
Yeah. And they tell you you'll get girls, but all you'll get is, other teenage boys watching that going, how do I do that? That's literally it. It's that part of the story always gets lost.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We're touching on AI before. How has AI impacted you and what are the things that you use AI for?
AI for business stuff has been super handy. It's been handy in from the legal sense of building mundane things from terms and conditions to accounting stuff to legal forms to standard emails to reply to people when it just saves you time. I hate to say this, but occasionally, like if we have really painful musicians complaining about things in their life all the time. I know that my wife occasionally is like, all right, you know me, make this sound like me, but I do not have time for this now. And then she'll write something like that and send it out. And I've said to her, if you ever do that to me, I'm going to know. But from a creative point of view, it can be handy for getting to first principles of things that you want to solve, or you're like, oh, I want to get my music here. How do I do that? I want my website, I want my SEO on my website to connect. Help me with that. I found that super useful. One thing that does bother me a bit about AI is I think that it should have empowered us to free ourselves from the mundane stuff so we could be creative beings. It does concern me a little seeing people doing it the other way around.
Yeah.
And using it to do the creative stuff instead of the digging for it. And I'm like, I'm not sure where I sit with that now. I see where it's going, and I worry about people being replaced by, marketing departments that can churn out stuff.
Well, marketing departments are one thing. I think where it, and I guess there hasn't. How to say it? I think at the moment, at least from what I've seen with creative aspects of AI, is it's very derivative.
Yeah.
It can take what's already been created, rearrange it, and make it into something different.
Spit out version 1B
but
of it.
But it's basically it's variations on something that has already been created.
Yeah.
It's not anything truly new and unique.
Mm-hmm.
Not something like, if you think about the musical history and where music's come from, and the completely amazing, unique changes that have been brought about by artists. And not every artist is incredibly unique and different, but there have been some absolutely groundbreaking things done by people that would never thought of by anyone else before.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious whether the AI thing will ever get to the point where it can do that. Because that's the one thing that I think that the human advantage is to think outside the box.
Yeah.
AI's, if you think about it, is not thinking outside the box at the moment. It's all in the box.
Yeah.
It's very good at it and very quick, but it's not coming up necessarily with anything truly unique and new.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it'll be interesting to see over time whether it does.
It will be interesting to see where it goes. I know that, Elon Musk just says it's one big Excel spreadsheet right now, and you're basically interacting with...
Pretty much.
I do wonder about that too. I think our industry, like as performers and people who create a live experience, is in a surprisingly strong place compared to a lot of the old stalwart sort of, become lawyers and doctors and accountants and have these safe, well-paid jobs. I'm kind of going, now it looks a little bit like AI could definitely do your jobs and not make any mistakes, but we're kind of in a better position now.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, it's like going...
What my guidance counsellor used to say back in high school.
Well, I see online and people talking about, it's like, go out and be a plumber or an electrician or...
Yeah.
Or be a musician and perform live.
Yeah.
It'll be until they get the hologram thing sorted out.
Yeah. It's I feel we're safe for a while yet, or at least we won't be worried about it by the time it's a thing.
Yeah. So, when you finished doing your album, how will you put that out there into the world? What have you learnt from other people and seeing other people record and put their music out in the world?
Well, for this kind of niche. I think that it's about ending up on play. I have a friend named Nathan Solo, who's a really lovely piano player up in Brisbane, and amongst other things, one day he just started making pianoscapes, just these cruisy. I'm evoking an emotion. It's energetically not going to wind you up. It's going to settle you down, and he'd put them out there, and they'd end up on these playlists on Spotify that all of a sudden he's got this many 100,000 views in this week, and it kind of grew into this big thing. He felt like making it. It wasn't his normal bag, but his heart was in it and he created it, and then it found a nice home somewhere, maybe in a way that he didn't expect, and so he just keeps making them there. So I feel like that will be me too with this. I mean, it's probably more along those lines as opposed to the traditional, I'm an artist, I'm going to go out and get in front of people as often as I can and do this thing and see if I can't forge a path live. It's probably something that will live more in recorded format than live format. And I'll probably go about it that way. So as to how you attract the attention of finding and ending up on those playlists, well, that's still a work in progress for me. So I've got to think more about where it goes.
Is that something that AI may be able to help you with?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I think that definitely it can help with that stuff.
Okay.
With helping you forge a path.
You talked about influences like Tommy Emmanuel and that, and the piece you played evokes some of those sort of sounds.
Bit of that.
Who would you say were the most influential people, and what do you like listening to right now?
Influential. Tommy was a big influence. Back when I was a kid, I think someone brought home my uncle gave me a CD of hymns of Determination, I think it was, and I sat there and put Stevie's Blues on. I was like, I'd not been playing guitar for that long. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I want that, and and kind of grew into lots of all kinds of people. I like Robin Ford and Larry Carlton and George Benson and all these people that I really, really dig. I love Brent Mason and all those country guys. I've started trying to get my hands around some of that. Went through a big John Mayer phase. Like, I feel like everyone goes through a big John Mayer phase.
It's like I don't think you ever really get over that one.
Yeah. He used to write so many great songs
great songs, but it's the touch, the expression.
Yeah.
He just has a great way of expressing himself through the guitar.
Yeah, it kind of reminded people that you could do that again, I think. He was like maybe part Jeff Beck or something in and whatever. You were like, I can think about what goes into these notes more.
Like you can hear the trio stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You can hear the influences, but it still makes it his own.
Yeah, it's his own bag. It's not Stevie, it's not Jimmy. It's that, yeah. And I definitely went through a phase of liking that, but I now have a pretty eclectic listening setup now. I really like guys like Wolfpack, and the kids really love listening to Corey Wong and stuff. So that kind of funk stuff is which is cool. Like, you know, coming from the same place that Prince came from and stuff like that.
And the big band with the horns.
Man, that guy's crazy.
The bass player.
He's always got the most amazing bass players. Like, it was crazy to me, that whole band and how much stuff they can make and content they can make in a year is unbelievable to me.
I guess the thing when I listen to that stuff, what amazes me, coming from a recording studio point of view too, and thinking about being arranging music and as a producer, it blows me away that you can have people playing and that much information coming from that many different musicians. Yeah. And it's still enough space for it to all
makes
exist
sense
together.
Still. Yeah. You know, I agree. I think it's really cool. And I was stoked that the kids are like kind of into that stuff too.
Because that's different. That's not the typical pop genre stuff.
No. But he's obviously found a pop vein that connects with people there. And I like guys like Marcus King now. It's people who sound real, and Chris Stapleton and those guys who I just like now. And I guess I've always liked, for vocalists anyway, anyone you believe.
Yeah.
And you can tell straight away. You don't even have to listen to a full verse.
Whether it's authentic or not.
Whether this person is real. And so I definitely aspire to be a musician that sounds or feels real.
Were you always singing from the outset? Or is that something that came...
No, I started singing harmonies in bands when I was younger, and I thought, I think I've got an okay voice. And then over time, you do gigs, and the female vocalist would be like, I'm not singing the last set, my voice is gone. The monitors just aren't right tonight, and I'm not doing that song or that song or that song. And you're like, I guess I'm doing those songs. And then learn a few tunes. And then one time, and it was on one of those trips to Germany that I did, I ended up in this little town outside of Munich, and I thought I was just playing guitar for this, in this school hall that they'd hired out. And he's like, so you're going to sing and maybe play the guitar? And I was like, sing? He's like, yep. And I'm like, okay. So I scribbled down a bunch of songs that are covers from pub stuff that I'd done, and I belted them out, and it went over really well. And of course, they didn't know what I was singing half. I mean, some of them they can understand English, right? But they never heard any of those songs. So to them, it may as well have been all originals. But then I was like, okay, I'm a singer now as well. And over time, I've grown to really enjoyed that aspect.
So it came
of
about by
performing.
necessity.
Because
is it something that you've had? Do you ever do any lessons as far as singing?
Yeah, I've found I like finding good teachers, and I feel like I have a knack for finding in whatever I'm learning. I feel like I have a knack for distilling down the people who've really onto something.
Yep.
And so there's a couple of people I found online who've been super helpful at letting go of weight. So I can get through a weekend of 4 or 5 gigs now, and I'm by no means perfect. I'm really working hard to have less, like have presence without weight, without tension. But I feel like I'm getting there with it. And that's been super helpful.
Oh, okay.
It's made a big difference actually. Yeah. Cause
Wow.
because that out of necessity too, I was finishing weekend and going, I got no voice. I can't talk. I'm like, how am I going to make if I even get the sniffles, I'm going to be cooked for the next weekend. So
Wow.
it's like, I really need to
Yeah, and
work
I guess
this
it's
out.
when you're relying on it for an income.
Yeah.
That's one thing. You don't get there's no such thing as a sick day.
No, you have to turn up, and we're all just going to have a bottle of prednisone and then dunk it down and then got some prayers.
How does that show up in the age because you're doing an agency and so you're booking other musicians?
Mm-hmm.
How does that show up? Do you often dealing with people who and people get sick? And
Yeah.
is it one of those things? And how do you relate that to yourself? Like at what point for you do you say I can't do the gig?
Yeah, it's very, very rare that I pull myself off a gig because I'm not well. I'll battle through most things. Like, obviously, it's not the same for everyone, and it's certainly a challenge to deal with the various degrees of last minute to last second cancellations for things. And
Well,
having to
I know what I've done it myself, where you think, I'm not well, and it's 2 days away, and it's like,
I'll be good by then.
I'll be good by then.
Yeah.
And then you get to the day, and it's like, I'm not good.
I'm worse. Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I could have called that 2 days ago, but then again, I might have been okay.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's very hard to know.
You can't exactly have a crystal ball with yourself.
No.
And it would be fine with anything, but yeah, particularly, and you would know, like with the voice, that
If
you can't force it. If it's gone, it's gone.
If it's gone, it's gone,
Yeah.
and there's nothing. And I've done gigs where that's one of the things. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah, if you can't.
When you turn up to sing and your voice is literally won't do what you want it to do.
It's just like
It's embarrassing.
the folds won't close. That's it. You're just going to breathe heavily through a 58 for.
And so what do you do? And I've struggled through those sorts of gigs. It's interesting sometimes, and I'd be curious to hear your point of view on this, where I've found that a gig that I'm struggling, really struggling, but you're trying, you're putting everything you have into it because you know that you're not performing at your best.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how audiences somehow really connect with that because I guess maybe because you're putting so much effort in.
Yeah.
You're not performing at your best, but audiences seem to connect with it much better. Do you find it's a similar thing?
Yeah, I've found that. And one thing, thinking back to all the gigs I've done with Adam over the years, I noticed very early on that a lot of things that we'd all get caught up in and like, how many bars is this going for? What are we doing the hits here? What's happening with the dynamic of the band here? He didn't care about a lot of that. Or he cared about it in as much as it didn't get in his way of... And all he really cared about playing and all he cares about playing is connecting with people. He's like, yeah, I yell some stuff to kind of convey the message or whatever, but what I'm really interested in is how I intentionally connect with people and take them somewhere. And all the other stuff, it helps and I try not to let it hinder, but it's just the platform that happens from. And I think sometimes...
When you're performing really well, you forget that you've got to do that connection thing.
Yeah. And then you're like... Oh, the connection thing is the point, actually. That's the reason. And we get stuck in the how the car drives as opposed to where it's going. And
that's a great analogy.
I think it's
a great analogy.
Yeah, I think that is it. And yeah, people come and say it, and there's nothing worse in the world when you think you've done a bad job and someone comes up and goes, "That was really great," and then you realise, oh, this is also a lesson in humility. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not, I could have been, if you come last week, would have been way better. No. It's like,
Yeah.
a real moment happened, and you just be grateful for it, and you keep trying to be better, but that's the point.
Yeah.
So you've ticked the box, even though you drove in there with the wheels on fire.
Yeah. Besides playing music and doing the agency, is there any other things connected to music where you've earned a living from it? Like you were music shop sales?
Yeah. I used to work at the music spot up in Browns Plains and sell guitars and stuff. And then I used to work at night and the school above there, and then also at a couple of other schools teaching. Yeah. So taught a lot of guitar lessons for a long time. Everything from kids who really had something to kids like, here's a bag of M&Ms. If you play E minor, you get one. If you play it wrong, I get one. It was like to that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting motivational tool.
It did have its limits. But I feel like teaching is a job that you should only do while you love it. In any kind of teaching, I'm like, if you don't want to do it, you should stop. You're shortchanging yourself and everyone. But if you do love it, and like for teaching an instrument, it kind of, everyone gives you a different viewpoint into music. It's somewhat, you have to see things through their filter a little bit. And I feel like I've learned a lot about music and approaching the instrument and just all kinds of things to do with that in general, just from trying to explain things to people and going, I really have to think this out to the point where I can explain it to this 7-year-old.
So teaching someone else actually helps.
Yeah, I think so.
Helps you learn in the same, and it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, I think so. And like with the kids who really have something and are going somewhere, the time goes in no time. And with the kids that don't, it feels like the hourglass has got something stuck in it, a pebble. but you've, and at the end of a day of teaching, you feel
mentally drained,
pretty tired. So I don't know that I would teach again. I feel like I hit my point where I was like, whatever I had to get out of this and give out of this, I think I did that. But I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, it's a great way to keep the dollars flowing in, staying connected with your instrument, sharing with kids what grabbed you and made you connect with music and guitar, and then seeing them hear something cool, and then seeing them do something cool and make and play something, and you're like, oh wow, this is awesome. It's like when you have kids and they're young and the whole world is amazing. They remind you when they're really small. They'll sit there and see some butterfly land on a leaf and go, like it's like their whole world just exploded and became twice as big. And you're like, hey, actually the world is full of really cool stuff. And you get to have that again with your instrument when you can teach someone, because they sit there and you forget. You're like, oh, how cool it was just to be able to play G, C, and D and have them come out cleanly. And then you're like, I'm a musician. I can do it. Just.
So you are the two boys.
Yep.
They play music?
My eldest boy, Jake, plays guitar, and he's pretty, and he's got a nice little singing voice. I'm not sure if he seems more kind of sold on his BMX at the moment. But he plays a whole bunch, and he plays some pretty cool stuff too. Like he's sitting there playing, Neon or some of the John Mayer stuff and trying to sing along with it. And so I don't know where that'll lead, but yeah, it's kind of cool to watch his approach as well. Everything's just kind of, I feel like I was just really desperate to be able to do things, and he's way more chill about it, and it kind of flows, and he just flows with it, and he's like, cool, well that was fun. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go ride my bike now. Yeah,
it doesn't rule his world.
It doesn't rule his world, and I can see some of the benefits of that, where you can tune out a little bit. And
I mean, it's an interesting thing meeting the diverse range of musicians that you meet, and most people who do it as a career, it purely is about the passion for it. It's not something, I think, if you didn't have the passion for it, it's not something that you would choose to do.
There's easier ways to live.
There's a lot easier ways to make a living.
Yeah.
You were talking before about, being open to things changing and not necessarily looking too far ahead into the future. What is if there was a 5 to 10 year plan for Jase McGregor, what would that be?
It's an interesting question, because my wife and I really enjoy spending time in Southeast Asia, and particularly in Thailand. And we also see an opportunity to expand the agency there and bring a lot of people that are really great here over there for events and things. and maybe to live there part-time. And then I noticed over there that there's kind of a bit of a burgeoning scene of people really love playing guitar over there. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, there could be a little side mission into a little side quest into doing some stuff over in that neck of the woods. I would like to, like my friend Nathan with his Pianoscapes, get myself into more of a just having more balance of that, less, and it's already less. It used to be playing as many gigs as possible and then just trying to fit in all this, the emails and everything. Now I'm more comfortable to try and pick and choose. Maybe I'm not sure what other touring gigs will come up over the next couple of years, but I'm sort of open to other bits and pieces to happen there. So basically, quality over quantity is a big thing for me.
Is Brand still playing a lot?
He's not playing a lot at the moment. He's kind of pivoted into a mining-related thing that's quite profitable, to the point where he's got a project that's going really well that he's involved with, but he's also just moved his family over to WA to go panning for gold. Oh, wow. Nearby. He's taking some time out from people. We've got some more gigs with him this year.
He had his property burnt down.
Yeah.
Just out the back of the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
That must have been a devastating thing to have happen.
I'm sure it was. He's the kind of guy, though, just the stuff. He's like, it's just stuff. I'll build again. And he has, since I've met him, he's a proper entrepreneur. So I've seen him build a bunch of businesses, and some of them have taken off, and some of them haven't. And you live or you learn, and it all works. That's been a really big. It's been a really big.
He's a motivational.
He's a very and he'll come up with an idea, and by the end of the day, it's happening. And every now and then he has one that really sticks, and at the moment he's got one that really sticks. So I think he's enjoying spending more time with his little girls, and he likes being away from too much noise and people and stuff. So I think what will happen is that he'll start organising some really cool gigs that we'll do a few over a year, and doing things that he just likes because he enjoys them, as opposed to we got to hit the road and we've got this release and then we've got to.
The normal cycle of right, record the album, put it out in the world, tour out to promote it.
Yeah, less of that, mostly because I think he enjoys being on the road, but I think he really misses his little girl. So
it's a double-edged sword there, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like you can't have one without the other.
Yeah,
you can't.
Whatever. You get one side of the coin, or you flip it, and I don't know. I think there's, because you asked earlier about kids and the music gig. I kind of found that the lifestyle has been better in some ways. I mean, I feel like I was home a lot more.
Well, I felt that when I was working a lot when I had my daughter. The only difficult thing is working late nights and
backing it up in the morning.
Yeah,
especially when they're
never been a morning person.
Well, I always was. I've been trying to work out. I'm sure I'm owed a bunch of sleep, but growing up on the farm, I was always up early. And then I just started going to bed late as well. And nothing moved, nothing gave. So just sleep was this. I'm trying to keep that balance a little more now. But being a morning and an evening person, maybe I just need to nap more in the middle of the day.
Your wife was a performer, or is a performer?
She can sing, and she's got a lovely voice, but she's never been a performer.
Never been a performer? Okay.
No, she's written shows and directed them and produced them and stuff, but hasn't performed in them. But when I met her, I was doing a gig in Melbourne, some corporate at the casino down there, and her company were in charge of the fit out for it. We kind of met that way and did a lot more trips to Melbourne.
Yeah.
She moved up here and we built a little agency, McGee.
Is there as much enjoyment in that side of the industry as in performing for you? Like, is it?
I like kicking goals. I guess the cool thing about some of that business is that you can just look at metrics and then you're like, I've kicked a goal here. It's kind of like more like sport. It's like, as opposed to, did I kind of do a decent job of performing for that gig, or am I getting there with this? It's like, you can quite clearly see the inputs and the outputs, and like, I put this in and then this stuff happened and now I've got these people doing that. Yeah, I do like that side of things. My wife really does enjoy, she does want to build an empire. I mean, she really wants to treat all these musician friends we have really well and give them great stuff and great support and look after clients and be really be really professional and show that we care about people at the same time. And I think that she does that really, really well. But I definitely am. I wouldn't say it's the same enjoyment. Like if I couldn't stop doing music and do that and feel fulfilled.
Yep.
But also by the same token, in the same way that I sometimes joke at home, is like I really enjoy vacuuming the house on Mondays because it's just a different vibe to what I do all the rest of the time. So maybe it's nice to have a different focus for a little bit, and it's definitely wise too, I think, in this case, because you can't perform 1 million gigs every week forever.
No, no. And going back, I guess, if you look back over the length of what you've done career-wise, it's always been a diverse range of things to cobble together an income.
Yeah.
It's not always performing, it's performing, teaching, working in the music store. It's a very diverse range of stuff. It says here, do you believe more in tone is in the fingers or tone is in the gear?
Of course it's in the fingers. I mean...
Well, playing an acoustic guitar,
yeah,
it definitely is in the touch and the fingers. And
yeah, well,
I mean, a great instrument's a great instrument.
It does lead you to play a certain way, like, and certain effects lead you to, I really feel like they pull different things out of you. But by the same token, it's always the same old adage, isn't it? If Stevie Ray Vaughan picked up 5 different guitars, if he picked up a Telecaster or he picked up a Les Paul or he picked up a 335, he'd still sound like him on all of them. We all know that.
I think that was a great quote. Was it Steve Lukather or, it said, I played Eddie's guitar through Eddie's rig and it still sounded like me.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to make you any friends on the gear page, but I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Any quirky or unconventional techniques that you use that other guitarists might not expect?
Oh. Quirky or... I don't think I'm too outside the box. I do... if I'm ever using the thumb pick, I do use a lot of upstrokes, which is unusual for people sometimes, like I tremolo or trill with...
How do you find... Have you used the thumb pick for a long time? Is that something that you...
I don't typically use it except for playing that kind of Travis picking or that Tommy kind of stuff, and I find it very. I've got to wear them down a bit, like straight out of the box. I mean, I used to sit there, just try and shave them down on stuff, and then they'd get perfect, and then they'd break right as they got good. And my son Jacob, he only uses thumb picks, and he sent me a picture over the weekend. He's like, I've been learning this guitar shuffle thing, and he's like, but now I've run out of thumb pick. I'm like, where can I get more? And he's like worn it down in a weekend. So he's obviously gotten into it. I do like them. It's taken me a long time to get used to playing fingerstyle without having that sort of that percussive thump behind it, like just using that, because I don't use my nails at all. No nails.
Okay.
So
yeah, I just find it.
I dig that.
It's one of those things I've tried, and I still keep trying from time to time. Getting used to a thumb pick, I can't. It feels very awkward.
They feel awkward, and for them to be, for me, they have to be that tight that they're cutting off your circulation in your finger. Because man, if you're playing something that relies on it, and you can feel it moving even the tiniest bit, you're like, oh no, it's all over.
Have you tried the ones that have got they're like a spring?
Yeah, I can't do that. That's never worked for me. It's just got to be these like those little Dunlop mediums or whatever. That's it, and they're super tight, and I've got to kind of file them down a little bit to make them a little bit. And you got to hold them different. Like if you want to pick with them, you got to have this massive crazy angle to make it work. Some guys, I mean, like Brent Mason, he plays crazy stuff with it.
I got to say, one of the things that I found a little bit. And it's not necessarily unique, but it's different. When you stand up and play, the guitar, particularly on an acoustic guitar, you have it quite low.
Yeah.
And then angle the neck up. Mm-hmm. Is that obviously you're using it obviously feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Was it always? Have you always played?
I've not been the hold the guitar up high guy, and I think part of it is because, part of it was because like it was the Adams band, like Matty the bass player. I mean, you have these bass down here, he'd be like, "Bro, you can't have your guitar up there. we're doing a show here. You got to like lower. And not
It
low,
always
low, but
surprises me when I did a Fleetwood Mac tribute thing for a while.
Yeah.
And I watched a bunch of stuff with Lindsey Buckingham.
yeah.
And I was like, he plays the guitar incredibly low.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah,
it's
I
a
didn't know
finger,
that.
but it's very much right hand finger picking type
Yeah,
technique.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it seems to, it's actually like it actually seems to work for him perfectly. Like it's just odd because when you're sitting down,
Yeah.
the guitar's in that position. When you're playing, it's.
Yeah, well, I practice standing up all the time.
Oh, okay.
So for me, sitting here, it's been a while since I've sat down and played, and obviously we record a bunch, and you're like, oh, hang on, I've got to adjust here. I used to practice sitting down, and then I get to the weekend, and just those tiny little things feel off,
Yeah.
and you got to get used to them. So yeah, that's kind of, I'm always singing, always standing up. So I always just keep it, and that's just what feels most comfortable to me. I mean, it's low, but I'm not bending my wrist in a funny way. I'm pretty straight.
Because you have the.
The neck sits up a little.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of doing that Bowen thing and keeping all of the joints sort of as much in their middle of range of motion as I can, so that I don't. When I was 15 and 16, I started getting like tendonitis, and
Oh, wow.
like when I was really young, had it in there, and the most frustrating thing ever was having a teacher telling me to focus on relaxing.
Oh.
And like, oh, that'll definitely make me relax, so it'll get worse. And I started researching on the internet on back then. Found Bowen therapy, like, keep everything, make sure it was always in the middle of your range of motion, and try and, they'd make you tense up and then let it go, and then tense up and let it go, and start to train yourself what relaxed feels like, and then slowly build it up. And now I still use that stuff to try and relax more.
Okay.
And yeah, just kind of all of that just kind of feels comfortable where I've got it sitting. I haven't thought too hard about it, but I do know that a lot of guys, maybe that's more like the classical thing where they sit with the neck up that way more. I know a lot of the jazz guys will just literally have the guitar up pretty high.
It does look.
I can't do that. It just doesn't.
It sort of looks funny.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
each to their own.
I know we shouldn't listen with our eyes, but
No.
yeah.
Well, I get the whole point, the whole concept of when you sit down and then you stand up and the guitar's in the same position.
Yeah.
It just feels funny.
Yeah.
Feels odd.
Yeah, it's such.
And I guess you just got to go with what feels right for you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's what comes up. Like everyone finds their groove.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing with teaching too. You're like, what's right for me is not necessarily right for you. You notice that really quickly just with the mechanics of how people are made and stuff. You're like, of course, you have to find your own way.
Do you find with an acoustic guitar that your technique is different than with an electric? Because obviously the bulk of the body of the guitar forces your arm into a different position.
I still think about that a lot, because if I do most of my practice right now on the acoustic, and in some ways getting to electric, it used to be, these are slinkier strings, that's easier, but then you feel a bit unco with string spacing and how the pick's hitting. So I actually, if I know I've got a bunch of gigs on the weekend where I've got to really do a lot of electric stuff, I have to play it all week to get used to the string spacing being different, and the arm angle being different.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm really burning and killing it here, and then you chuck the Roadster on. I'm like, I feel terrible. Like I've got to work that out. And yeah, that is one of the frustrating things, isn't it? Like changing acoustic to electric during the course of a week can be a bit frustrating for me sometimes. Like,
right.
You just want to be able to say what you want to say without thinking, and then eventually that's just one of those things that gets you away from, and then you're thinking, and you're like, hate thinking.
Less thinking, more playing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What advice would you give your younger self starting out as a guitarist?
I think about that a lot. Well, I feel like I found the most difficult way to do everything, and then just applied the lever of lots of hours of it. So I think going back in time, some of the technical things, some of the musical things, not trying too many shortcuts, but actually trying to having the base of understanding why things happen in harmony would be something I'd focus on, and being just song and music focused. Learn lots of songs and from start to finish, actually finish them. And it seems that seems to be the thing with with kids and stuff, it's like, for me, necessity was I have to learn a song all the way through, and then I have to learn a set of them, and then that's how I had the vehicle and a necessity to do it. But I would say the main thing would have been learning a bunch of songs, learning why the harmony happened the way it happened, and then from a technical point of view, learning how to be as relaxed as possible from the get-go.
Okay.
And not overcooking.
Yeah.
Not just harder for longer.
From when you started to where we are now, there's been a lot of changes in the music industry, a lot of changes with guitars and guitar amps and stuff. What are some of the most significant changes that you've seen?
The main thing for me is the modelling thing. I mean, that's a whole different world now.
And when you say modelling, that's obviously going from playing through an actual guitar amp
to
playing through a little box that
is
models what a guitar is. It's the AI of guitar amps.
It is, yeah, and it's been a long time coming to get good, I guess. I mean, everyone remembers the old red kidney bean pods.
Kidney bean pod. I did a recording with Louis Shelton years ago, and he turned up and played through a red kidney bean pod, and I was like sceptical, to say the least. He made it sound amazing.
Yeah.
Made it sound absolutely amazing.
Well, I guess, people did then.
Yeah.
Like when it first came out and it was on albums and stuff, and you're like,
it's all in the fingers.
It
didn't matter about the gear.
Yeah, well, they were like, I don't even need an amp. See, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But now they're so good, and every time I get an update on the Axe FX, I'm like, oh yes, what is it today? And all the old models sound better, and there's new stuff, and to travel with, it's handy. It's good for consistency.
Which Axe FX are you using?
I'm using the FM3 at the moment. This little
one,
the little guy that I've got another controller the same size for if I need or not, and it's great to flow with. Your sound is the same, depending on who the monitor guy is, everywhere, or if you're on ears. And yeah, I've become 100% that guy now, model guy. Just recently, so I was working on the road with Adam's band with Isaac Kennedy, who's a lovely guitar player.
He's just. I did a podcast. Actually, Isaac's podcast will have been out 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Oh wow! Yeah,
as this is coming out.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that guy. And
because he brought his FM9.
Yeah, he just clicked over.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for a long time, and then he's like, "Oh, I borrowed one," and he's like, "I'm getting it. That's it. I'm getting it." And
the way he's got it set up sounds great too.
Yeah. He loves that mossy thing like that. I'm like that middle and neck Marshall Strat thing. So good.
Yeah.
He's kind of got that down, and I'm just noticing more of that. That's been the biggest change guitar wise, like gear wise. I feel like, and everyone's downsized in general. Like on the road, like no one's touring much production. Everyone's all right. No amps. Everyone's on ears.
Yeah.
Make it work. That's not my favorite, to be honest.
The only thing that I miss. The one big thing that I would say it makes a massive difference, and I'm using a Kemper. So same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if you can look over there, I've got a couple of these little Kemper cabs.
I bought one too, yeah.
And I'm driving with a hefty power amp.
Yeah.
And one of the big differences I noticed, and I've noticed this in recording live gigs as well, is the guitar tonally sounds not massively different, but different enough.
Yeah.
If you've got, even though you're using the modeler, if you've got an amp pushing air, the strings vibrate and resonate in such a way that it makes a difference to your tone.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think just purely working with a modeler within ears you miss out on.
That
whole concept of playing a guitar loud and relatively cleanly, hitting a chord and having the air
start to sympathise with it.
Make the strings ring.
Yeah, I agree with that. It feels different, and you have to set up your patches ahead of time with the ears only and really, really work on trying to get... Like, they were actually starting to introduce part of their algorithm in Fractal now that is supposed to be a value that imitates the sympathetic vibrations from the amp cab back on your guitar.
How interesting.
It is interesting.
I wonder how they're doing that.
I have no idea how he does anything that he does, Cliff. He's pretty crazy. But I feel like it's definitely getting there.
Okay.
One day we might not miss it. I mean, just in general, though, it's hard. Ears never quite... because you can't feel it. You can't feel it. No matter how close it gets to sounding like it, you just don't.
I mean, there's
feel
nothing
the
like
energy
there's
from it.
nothing like playing through 100-watt Marshall
Yep.
with a quad box or two of them, which
Yeah.
is what I used to play through, and having that sensation, the feeling of hitting a power chord,
Yeah, and
and
then-
having your jeans flap against you.
Yeah.
There is nothing like that feeling. I mean, I guess the one thing that would be great about these days is it's much better on your ears. How do you find that your health of your ears is these days?
I don't know that I'm 100% sure.
Have you ever had them tested?
No. No, well, you know, every now and then you'll see one of those little reels or things will come on and they'll start playing the frequency go up, and they'll be like, tell you whenever you can't hear it anymore, this is where it cuts out and this is what your ear's age is. It's okay.
Well, you can't do that on the phone.
No, you got to do it through a set of monitors or something.
Well, you've got to have a set of monitors that can actually reproduce those. It's like
Yeah, I know.
the phone cuts out at 12K. Can you hear that 15K signal?
Yeah.
No, you never will.
No. So there you go. I don't know. I don't go to bed with ringing ears all that often. I do, if I'm playing on my own, I do tend to use, with the acoustic, I do tend to use my ears a decent amount, and because definitely vocally it's serves you well.
Yeah, it's a great. The in-ear monitors are great for singing.
And they do more naturally cause you to back off and not push so hard, I feel.
Great for not blowing out your voice.
Great for not blowing out your voice.
separation.
Yeah.
And great for stage volumes. There's that thing of the competition of a whole bunch of monitors competing with guitar amps, competing with...
Yeah. The only thing is, I mean, we were on a tour. My wife wrote a show that we toured around about Aretha Franklin for a couple of years. And last year, we went all ears on the road, and it was amazing for sound checks. Everything happened so quickly and people did it. The singers were stoked. But then you'd sit there and listen on the side of stage and you can hear kick and snare and nothing else and a bit of sound from out the front. You're like, oh, it's just not the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of those things, I guess.
Front of house guy loves it, but
well,
gigs aren't about that guy though.
A little bit of side fill with
would
filling the sound.
Just-
One of the things that I think I miss with the whole in-ear monitor thing, going and seeing other bands. You get up close to the front of the stage, you're getting a lot of drum kit.
Yeah, that's it.
And not a lot of anything else.
Yeah.
And that's not ideal.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So maybe there's a nice balance to be made there somewhere.
Yeah, put some, just give everyone side fill.
Put a perspex screen around the kit.
Yeah.
Make the drummer play an electric kit.
Oh,
They hate that.
Oh, I hate that too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's
got its place, but
yeah.
That's we wonder why we have noise restrictions everywhere now. It's our own fault.
I was going to say, we're talking about ear health. I think the biggest issue that I've had over the years is standing on small stages next to a drummer.
Oh, yeah.
The cymbals cutting.
And back when they used to have, everyone had a china, and then those were the dark ages of, like, thank God that's not a thing anymore now.
Well, there's still guys around.
And I know for guys like you who've got to be in the studio too, you can't smash your ears all weekend and then get back in the studio and be useful.
And that's one of those things I do regularly have my ears checked, mainly because of that. And I do know that my left ear is slightly down around 5 kilohertz. And I think it's because of standing next to a drum kit.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm ready to blame a drummer for anything. So, but
nearly all my life I've stood on the right-hand side of the kit with a drummer bashing in my left ear.
Yeah. No, they definitely, they've got a lot to answer for. They won't hear you when you're telling them.
So you've done quite a lot of variety of different things. If you had to pick a highlight over the career of the things that you've done, what would that highlight be?
Oh, gosh. It depends on what the metric is. Like,
just something for you that stands out and go, I'm so happy that I did that. That particular moment happened in my life.
Well, actually, I would say this show that Monique and I put on the road last year, this Aretha thing, She probably doesn't give herself enough credit, but she wrote something really amazing and constructed the songs from a pretty cool songbook around it in such a way that it was nice to create something in some theatres and then see people really strongly emotionally connect with it and then talk with them afterwards and then go, well, we took a lot of risk doing this and it cost a lot and it was very stressful, but I'm really glad we did it. And I think any of my experiences that I'm grateful for are to do with human connection. I think definitely I love seeing music affect people. I feel like there's something magic about it. Like you don't really understand what it is that moves people. You know it's in there. You know it's something vibrational that's happening that you're doing, but by the same token, you're like, but it's not me. Something just flows through that. And so that's a recent memory that pops up. Big gigs and things, we've had the opportunity to play on big stages to lots of people. You rarely get to know if that's connected or be a part of that feeling. So it feels like, I get to tick one of those boxes that I thought was cool when I was a teenager. But more often than not, it's the smaller spaces where, and I like those little clubs where you walk inside and it feels like you're somewhere else. So all of a sudden people have left their world behind, they're inside, and then you know that you've really connected with them. And I probably can't even name where the places are, but all the things I'm grateful for are around human interactions I had during or after a gig where it just made me feel like this is my purpose. I'm supposed to do this, and connecting with one person can feel like your whole day's been made.
Yeah, that's really
what
cool.
That's what I really value,
Yeah.
and I think that too. Focusing on that also keeps you from getting jaded when you're doing the same thing all the time. And sometimes people are calling out for the same requests all the time, or they're not listening, or something's going on. But then always every week you find that you did actually connect with someone in some way or another, and that's your big tick of purpose. I really believe that.
That's awesome. All right. Well, with that, thank you very much, Jase McShred.
Thanks, Scotty. Thanks for having me, mate. Cheers,
Thank you very, very much, mate.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you very much for sticking around and watching. I will see you all on the next podcast. I'll put links for all things that Jace is up to down below in the description if you want to go and check out his social media and where he's playing and what he's up to. And we'll look forward to hearing the album when it's done.
Yeah, come on. Yep.
Yeah. Thanks very much, everyone. See you soon.